Let's get weird into it. Number 9. Knocking on wood. There you are, telling your friend how you've miraculously never broken a bone. And before the sentence is even finished, your knuckles are frantically searching for the nearest table leg, tree, or unsuspecting IKEA bookshelf. You rap on it twice, a quick little drum solo against misfortune. But why? What cosmic force do you think lives inside a particle board desk that can ward off the universe's terrible sense of irony? The answer, like most weird human traditions, is probably pagan. The idea was that ancient spirits, everything from mischievous fairies to powerful benevolent gods, lived in trees. When you needed a favor, like not immediately tripping and shattering your tibia after bragging about your indestructible skeleton, you'd knock on a tree to call on the spirit for protection. It was like a spiritual doorbell. Knock once to get their attention, and knock a second time to say thanks, so they didn't get annoyed and curse you with eternal splinters. Another theory, a bit more sinister, is that you weren't asking for protection at all. You were creating a distraction. If you said something good out loud, evil spirits might overhear you and decide to ruin your life for fun. So, you'd knock on the wood to create a noise that would drown out your good fortune, essentially shouting, "La la la, I can't hear you, demons," over your own happiness. It's the ancient equivalent of putting on headphones so you don't have to talk to your neighbor. Basically, you're either politely asking a tree ghost for a favor or being aggressively rude to demons. Either way, your coffee table is now a vital part of your spiritual defense system. Number 8. Crossing your fingers. You're hoping to get that job. You're waiting for test results. You're watching a free throw that could win the game. What do? You contort your index and middle fingers into a bizarre little pretzel, as if that specific arrangement of bone and tendon has the power to bend reality to your will. It's a universal symbol for please, please, please let this happen. But this simple gesture has a surprisingly intense history, split between pagan power and Christian persecution. One theory suggests the pre-Christian pagans believed that crosses were powerful symbols, representing a nexus of energy or unity. When two people made a wish, they would cross their index fingers to concentrate their combined spiritual energy on that single point, creating a little good luck vortex. It was a two-person job. The solo finger cross we do today is just the lazy, one-player version of that ancient ritual. The other, more dramatic origin story comes from early Christians who were being persecuted by the Romans. They couldn't openly use the sign of the cross to identify each other without, being thrown to the lions. So they developed a series of subtle hand gestures. Crossing the index and middle finger was a covert way of signaling their faith to fellow believers, a secret handshake that wouldn't get you arrested. It was a symbol of divine protection and solidarity in the face of mortal danger. So the next time you cross your fingers hoping the Wi-Fi connects, just remember that for some people, that exact gesture was the only thing standing between them and a very hungry predator. It really puts your buffering video into perspective. Number 7. Spilling salt. You're at dinner, reaching for the salt shaker, and your elbow bumps it, sending a cascade of tiny white crystals across the table. Panic. Everyone freezes. Someone immediately grabs a pinch of the fallen salt and flings it over their left shoulder. Crisis averted. But why the dramatic reaction? It's just sodium chloride. It's not like you just unleashed a swarm of locusts. Well, according to ancient wisdom, you kind of did. Salt used to be incredibly valuable. Roman soldiers were sometimes paid in it. It's where we get the word salary. Spilling something that valuable was considered a massive waste and an invitation for bad luck. But it gets weirder. Salt was also seen as a powerful, pure, magical substance. It could preserve food, purify water, and, most importantly, ward off evil. It was basically ghost and demon repellent. So when you spill the salt, you're not just making a mess. You're wasting your magical defenses. And according to folklore, this act of carelessness is an open invitation for the devil himself, who is apparently just lurking behind your left shoulder at all times, waiting for you to mess up. Throwing a pinch of salt over your left shoulder is a defensive move. You're literally flinging a handful of holy ghost repellent directly into the devil's face to blind him and send him scurrying away before he can whisper terrible ideas into your ear, like getting bangs or investing in cryptocurrency. It's a tiny, desperate act of spiritual warfare, right there next to the breadbasket. Number 6. Bless you. Someone sneezes. It's an involuntary explosion of air and germs. But for a split second, society grinds to a halt as everyone in a 10-foot radius turns to the sneezer and chimes in with a chorus of, "Bless you." We say it automatically, a polite little reflex. But we're actually participating in an ancient, paranoid ritual designed to fight off demons, death, and the bubonic plague. There are a few competing theories here, and they're all wonderfully morbid. One of the oldest ideas is that a sneeze was your soul attempting to escape your body through your nostrils. Your soul, in this view, is a flighty, gaseous entity just looking for an excuse to bail. Saying "God bless you" was a quick prayer to shove it back in before it could float away and leave you an empty, soulless husk. Another belief, popularized by Pope Gregory the Great during a massive plague in 6th century Rome, was that a sneeze was the first fatal sign you were about to die. The blessing was essentially a last-ditch effort to get your soul right with God before you keeled over. It was less of a get well soon and more of a hope you made your peace. But the most popular theory is simply that a sneeze momentarily stops your heart. For that tiny, terrifying fraction of a second, you are technically dead. The blessing is to make sure your heart starts back up again, and to protect you from evil spirits, who might try to possess your body during that moment of vulnerability. So when you say "bless you," you're not just being polite. You're performing a frantic miniature exorcism on your friend who just has seasonal allergies. Number 5. Opening an umbrella indoors. It's a rule we all learned as kids. Never, ever open an umbrella inside. Why? Because something bad will happen. It's vague, it's nonsensical, and yet you'd still rather get soaked running to your car than risk popping one open in the hallway. This superstition is a strange cocktail of ancient sun worship and Victorian-era paranoia about hazardous machinery. The story starts in ancient Egypt, where umbrellas, or parasols really, were used to shield royalty from the sun. These weren't for rain. They were mobile shade machines made of things like peacock feathers and papyrus. Their circular shape was thought to mimic the goddess of the sky, Nut, and the shadow they cast was considered sacred. To open one indoors, away from the rays of the sun god Ra, was a massive insult to his power. You were essentially telling a deity his services weren't required, which was a great way to get yourself cursed with eternal sunburn. The superstition got a modern reboot in the 18th century London with the invention of the spring-loaded metal umbrella. These things were not the sleek, user-friendly devices we have today. They were clunky, dangerous contraptions with stiff metal spokes and a powerful, unpredictable spring mechanism. Opening one in a confined space like a living room was a genuine hazard. You could poke someone's eye out, shatter a vase, or terrify a small child. So, the warning, "Don't open an umbrella indoors," was less about angering the sun god and more about not accidentally launching a metal spike into your grandmother's face. It was just good practical advice that inherited a spooky, ancient reputation. Number 4. Walking under a ladder. You see it on the sidewalk, a painter's ladder leaned up against a building. You have two choices. You can walk under it and save 3 seconds, or you can veer out into the street, risking traffic, just to avoid passing through that triangular space. Most of us choose the traffic. The fear is so ingrained we don't even question it. But this isn't just about avoiding a falling can of paint. This is about avoiding the wrath of God and the gallows. The superstition has two main, equally creepy origins. The first is Christian. A ladder leaning against a wall forms a triangle, and in Christianity, the number 3 is sacred, representing the Holy Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Walking through that triangle was seen as breaking the Trinity. It was a blasphemous act, a violation of a holy space, and a surefire way to invite the devil into your life. You weren't just taking a shortcut, you were stomping through a sacred symbol. The second origin is even grimmer. In old-timey England and France, criminals were often hanged from gallows that required a ladder to get them up to the noose. The condemned would have to walk up, and sometimes under, the ladder. The space beneath the ladder became permanently associated with death and execution. It was believed that the ghost of the executed person would linger in that triangular space, angry and vengeful. Walking under the ladder meant passing through a haunted, death-filled zone, where a resentful spirit might just latch onto you for company. So, you're either breaking a holy symbol, or you're high-fiving a ghost on your way to work. Both are excellent reasons to take the long way around. Number 3. Black cats. For every person who sees a black cat and thinks, "Aw, kitty," there's another who instinctively flinches, expecting a piano to fall on their head. The black cat is arguably the most famous living bad luck charm in Western culture. A sleek, four-legged vessel of misfortune. And it's all because they got mixed up in some very bad, very weird medieval press. In ancient Egypt, cats of all colors were revered. They were associated with gods and goddesses, like Bastet, and killing one was a capital crime. But fast forward to the Middle Ages in Europe, and things took a dark turn. The Christian church was on a mission to stamp out paganism, and anything associated with old nature-based religions was suddenly demonic. This included mysterious, independent nocturnal animals, like cats. The black cat got the worst of it. Their dark fur made them perfect for slinking around at night, unseen. This, combined with their eerie, glowing eyes, made people think they were supernatural. The folklore really took off when it was decided that witches could shapeshift into black cats to sneak around and spy on people. Worse, some believed they were familiars, demons in animal form, given to witches by the devil himself to help with their evil deeds. So, if a black cat crossed your path, it wasn't just a random animal. It was a witch on a mission, or a literal demon delivery service, and you were now on its radar. The paranoia got so bad that during the witch hunts, countless black cats were killed alongside their accused owners. It's a heavy burden for an animal whose only real crime is being the wrong color in the wrong century. Number 2. Breaking a mirror. All right, let's talk about the OG of bad omens. The one that comes with a specific, terrifyingly long warranty. 7 years of bad luck for breaking a mirror. Not 1 year, not 5. 7. It's so specific. You drop a vase, you get a mess. You break a mirror, you get a nearly decade-long cosmic curse. This isn't just about bad luck. It's about shattering your own soul. The fear goes all the way back to the ancient Greeks and Romans, who were among the first to have mirrors that could produce a decent reflection. They believed that your reflection wasn't just light bouncing off a surface. It was a glimpse of your actual soul, your spiritual twin living in a parallel world. The mirror was a portal. So, breaking a mirror didn't just crack the glass. It damaged, trapped, or even shattered your soul. You were now spiritually broken, and your luck would be just as fragmented. But where does the 7-year sentence come from? That's a Roman add-on. The Romans believed that a person's physical body and health regenerated in 7-year cycles. So, if you broke your soul by smashing a mirror, you had to wait for the next full cycle to be spiritually renewed. You were stuck with your glitchy, fractured soul until your body's cellular warranty expired and you got a fresh install. The only way to potentially speed up the process was to take all the broken pieces and either grind them into dust or bury them under a tree during a full moon. So next time you drop a compact, just remember, you're not just cleaning up glass, you're trying to hot glue your spiritual identity back together before it leaks out. Number 1. Friday the 13th. This is the Superstitions Super Bowl, an entire day on the calendar that we've collectively decided is cursed. People avoid flying, signing contracts, or even leaving the house on Friday the 13th. Hotels skip the 13th floor. It's the ultimate combination of two separate ancient streams of bad luck that merged into one perfect storm of paranoia. First, let's break down the components. The number 13 has been considered unlucky for centuries. Its ugliness comes from being just one number past the perfect number 12. There are 12 months in a year, 12 signs of the zodiac, 12 gods of Olympus, 12 tribes of Israel, 12 apostles of Jesus. 12 is complete, balanced, and holy. 13 is the awkward, disruptive guest who shows up and ruins the party. In Christian tradition, there were 13 people at the Last Supper, Jesus and his 12 apostles. The 13th guest to arrive, Judas Iscariot, was the one who betrayed him. In Norse mythology, the trickster god Loki was the 13th guest at a dinner party in Valhalla, and his arrival led to the death of the beloved god Baldur. The message was clear. 13 brings chaos and death. Then there's Friday. In Christian tradition, Friday was the day Jesus was crucified. It was also believed to be the day Eve gave Adam the forbidden fruit, and the day Cain killed his brother Abel. It was just a generally bad day for humanity. So you have an unlucky number and an unlucky day. For centuries, they were feared separately. But their horrifying union was cemented on Friday, October 13th, 1307. On that day, King Philip IV of France, in a massive conspiracy with the Pope, ordered the arrest of hundreds of the Knights Templar. They were rounded up, brutally tortured into false confessions, and later burned at the stake. The sudden violent destruction of a powerful and holy order on that specific date forever fused Friday and 13 into a single terrifying concept. It's a superstition born from mythology, religion, and a real-life, bloody historical betrayal. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.